Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. We're back again with another podcast episode. Today is going to be me, Mike, and Jared, or myself, Crisis Crusher, and Geester99. Just having a general Beyblade discussion. But before we kick that off, we have some pretty tragic news in the Beyblade community. Um, well-known Baytuber, good friend of all of ours. We've met him on occasion. We also had him on the show. Zenki, also known as Jose Limos Jr. His dad passed away earlier in the week or last week. Jose Limos Sr. It's really tragic. I know he was going through a lot. It was on his channel, and my heart goes out to you. Our hearts goes out to you. I did met your dad. He was very, very kind. I actually talked to him before I even talked to Zenki himself, and he was always cool. They came out to Dark Continent. It hit me hard because I know it was unexpected, and but much love to you, man. I know words can't express, but I do hope the best for you, brother. You and your loved ones and your family through this tragic time.
Yeah, my condolences goes out to Zanke and his family. I lost my father when I was 21 years old at a unexpected reason, so I know what it's like. Just hopefully they can get through it, and their whole family ends up, like I said, can get through it, and they can move past it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough thing to go through. I mean, I lost my dad a couple almost 2 years ago now, so it's definitely not easy.
Yeah. Sorry for that. It's sorry with both of y'all too. I know about you, Jared. Much love to you too, bro, and you as well, Mike. But yes, much love once again, Zenki or Jose Limos Jr. Thoughts and prayers. Okay. So no, it was heavy. I opened up the show, but we definitely wanted to speak on that. He's a good friend of ours. On to I think our next topic of discussion. Well, let me just open it up. Like I know I already asked y'all, but how's y'all's day been overall?
Pretty good. Me and Geezer went to the zoo, so
Yeah.
Baltimore Zoo.
What
It was fun.
is it's the Maryland Zoo?
Yeah, the Maryland Zoo.
Is it dope out there? Or is
I
it
mean,
nice?
they got penguins. Jared's favorite.
Yeah,
So,
I'd imagine so. It's I've been to the nicest zoo I've been to was in Houston. I've been to the San Diego Zoo, the really big one, but it was scorching hot that day, so we didn't stay out too long. And I've been to the zoo in Seattle, zoo in North Carolina when I was younger. I need to take my family again, but yeah. Speaking on that, I am gonna come up there, but I'm gonna just come solo, man. It's a little vacation trip for myself. Um, for your September 9th tournament, it is right.
yeah, September 9th.
Yeah, you were having yours on the second, so I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna make that.
yeah,
Huh?
it was gonna be on the second. But then they're doing some remodeling at Superstar, so
Okay.
he told me to move it back to the 9th, and I was like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, I was gonna have mine on the 9th, but not a lot of people like show up to our Jacksonville events. And it wasn't only that, it's um not to just make it about me, but what a lot had happened and I had been wanting a little bit of a vacation. So once that happened, it was just like, let me take the time out to go up there. Plus, it also works out because I have a school to go to for my job that week. So I'm already going to be close to the area. So,
Okay.
yeah. So it just worked out. I was like, well, instead of me having the event here, turning around, driving up there, or vice versa, I was like, let me just cancel this one. We'll get something going. And for all those that we're planning to attend or coming. We're gonna have another one. It's not gonna be in Jacksonville. It's not. I'm not hosting it. It's hashtag Fafnir. He's doing it. I think September 23rd. I'll be at that one as well. Really just to play, and that was a big thing. Like I do want to go just to play for a little bit because I've been hosting kind of a lot, and but it's all good. and he's gonna have it September 23rd. So we will have a X event in North Carolina in September. It's gonna be hosted by Fafnir and Granite Granite Quarry or something. I don't know, somewhere out by Charlotte. But yeah, I'm gonna make it up to y'all's on the 9th, and then on the 10th, Michael Nightwing is having a big One Piece tournament. So I'm probably gonna go there and probably just lose, but at least I get to get out of the state. And at least I get to get out of the state and just enjoy some nerd life. You know, just it's a mini vacation, and then I had to attend a school and stuff like that. But yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say I know like everybody in every area is like hyped for X and wanting to have a tournament as soon as possible, but you know, as organizers, we have to take into consideration that there has been a lot of like back orders of people's stuff. There are still some people that don't even have an X Beyblade yet.
It's very
You
true.
know, so you know, just give it time. You know, I'm sure within the next couple months, every area will be popping with X tournaments because you'll start seeing them pop up. People will go to them, and the organizers will get a feel of how many people actually own the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
because I talked to one dad. He was still waiting for his stuff to come in. And granted, I have enough to run the tournament. And another thing, I wanted to come up there, especially when I saw Fireblader '07 was going up there, represent for North Carolina, but also play because I knew if we played here, I was gonna have a smaller turnout, and it probably would have just been I don't want to say not as competitive, but it probably like I would have learned. I know if I go to up there with y'all having more of the stuff and y'all doing more of the testing, I could see it more on the competitive aspect than us just having kind of like a free play down here. Even though I know like it's new to everyone, but a larger tournament, I can learn more about it and then bring that back home for us. Because I don't know how many do you have signed up?
Let me check. I think it was like at 20 something already.
Okay, yeah.
Tournament.
Yeah. And you gonna be there, Jared?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at 24 people out of 36.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we still got a couple more weeks. Yeah, man, I'm sure it'll be fun. It'll be nice. I know it's a little it's a little break vacation for me. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of driving, but it's all worth it. Um so I know y'all been doing some testing. Like what's the word? What's the word with X?
How do I explain X? Jared, you say how you're feeling.
So right now with X, it's so weird because I feel like the consistency of like what beats what isn't there as much as it was with like other series because you have like the weird wacky stuff that can just like happen, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching like ball and versus needle matches like turn into stuff flying off the rail and all that stuff, and it's like normally that wouldn't happen, you know, like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Almost like, you don't expect to see like two bays on ball like going crazy and KOing each other like that often, but
Not
it
Yeah.
happens.
not to mention like we had a couple of matches where like the Beyblades would be running out of stamina, and you know, because they're so tall, when they fall over, you know, they fall over really steep. But
Mm-hmm.
like as they're like leaning over, one will just like catch the floor and just roll out into a pocket.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of
I
like,
I
that's a
hadn't
KO
witnessed
when it should have been a spin finish.
I haven't witnessed that. One thing I did witness though, I did have it wasn't a whole lot, but I had testing between myself and with my sons and even my wife. We had some KOs like out of the top of the stadium. You know, that actually happened a lot more than what I thought. I guess from the hard recoil. Did y'all run into that at all?
Yeah, it's happened a couple times.
Yeah. I'm glad TT put that in that rule, like you said. Like it's just declared a draw, right?
Yeah, it's out of bounds, so it's a draw.
Yeah. Because that definitely would have been something like an issue. So I'm glad that they saw that before it like became something and people didn't know how to address it.
There are all kinds of debates though going on in the WBO about that one like whole thing specifically because like here's the scenario for you. We know there's like burst priority with things and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if the two Beyblades hit, one bursts but one flies out of the top, what do you declare it? Because the Beyblade goes out of bounds. Is it a draw or is it a burst?
Yeah.
When I talked to Shindog about it, Shindog says in his eyes it would be a draw because the one Beyblade goes out of bounds. It can't win in because it's not in the stadium anymore. It can't win because it's not in the battle zone, which is a
Yeah.
fair assessment. But at the same time, the burst is going to happen the moment the burst happens. So right when the Beyblades hit, the burst happens. So at the
Um,
same time, the Beyblades are in there,
can you
even though the
refresh my
one is
memory?
with
Uh,
what?
my bad. And this is another big reason why I'm going up there because I know you all have studied the rules a lot harder. Um, can you refresh my memory as far as if does burst like if there's an over finish or let's say it goes into the pocket, not an extreme finish, just a regular over finish. If it goes in there and the other Beyblade it bursts, it has to re-enter the stadium to win, right?
Correct. Well, so if the burst and the stadium out happens at the same time, even if the Beyblade that went out doesn't come back in, it wins with the burst.
Oh, it does?
Yes, because the burst technically happens when the Beyblades have collided, not once the Beyblades have gone away from each other.
Okay. Well then I would I would look at it I think the way you looked at it because the burst would have had to happen before it went out of bounds.
Right.
Um,
And that, like I said, that it's one of those weird things where it more boils down to something like that because there's nothing clear from Takara Tomy about it. There's nothing like strictly saying like if a burst happens at the same time the Beyblade is flying out, this is what happens. Like there's nothing specific about it. So that's probably going to be more of a judge interpretation of, do they view it as a KO or a draw, or do they view it as the burst?
yeah.
You know
What
what I
would
mean?
yeah. What's your
Because
take, Jared? What would you think?
When Mike asked me this question, I think like yesterday or something, I was thinking that it would be like burst priority first. That's how it like just because that's how the KO part works. Like, wouldn't it be the same? Like
right.
I don't know. Like I can see why they would still call it a draw, but to me, I would still think you would count the burst before that.
Yeah. That's a
Right.
tough one. Yeah. Because I mean technically it's not KO'd, it's a draw, but it's like I don't know. I guess that in the same way, what if or let's look at it this way. What if one Beyblade got an extreme finish and the other one flew out the top? I guess you can look at to see like what happened first, but would you? Or would you just call it a draw?
Well, I mean that would be the whole thing. Like at that point, there I think it comes down to are you are you recording or are you not recording? If you record, you could probably just be like, okay, well then I'm gonna look to see what happens first and
Mm-hmm.
then make my decision based on that. But if you're not recording, the easiest way to just call it would be, well, the one flew out the top, so it's a draw.
Man. I
You know,
think yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say like that. That's what I think. Like, because there's definitely gonna be areas out there that are gonna look at X and just be like, oh, I don't need to record because the way the Beyblades work now, it's not special stamina LAD stuff going on, and that is gonna happen. There's gonna be places that think like that.
Yeah.
I will always record. I think recording is one of the most important things to do in this game at this point. But to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think for the simplicity and the swiftness of the game as it's supposed to be, if it ever flies out the top, just to call it a draw. But I do see the argument because even I'm on board with the burst priority. I would even think with an extreme finish. I don't know. I feel like it's different in that aspect for some reason because you can look to see what happened. But then again, sometimes the burst happens like if it hits a wall afterwards.
Right.
Um, I don't know, but I guess because of those variables, to keep it simple, a draw would just be what it is. But I could see that also pissing some people off if they felt like they got a burst or everything happened before.
Right.
Well,
What I'm thinking is like the day of what because we do have a tournament for X coming up here this Friday. for Beyblade East.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I'll talk to the people that are judging there, and then when it comes to the tournament on the 9th, I'll talk to my judges, and I'll kind of try to get an assessment of how do they feel about this ruling. What should we do? Because I'm not gonna just be like, hey, my tournament's gonna go my way. I want to know how my judges think this game needs to be played, because that's how I view it. It's everybody needs to work as a team. It can't just be one rule fits all.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to divert from that, but your tournament next month is ranked, right?
Yep, we
What's
never
up
do
with rank now?
it. So here's ranking in a nutshell. It's never coming back.
Okay, good.
But no, we don't
I
we
don't
don't
know if I
really
should have
know.
said good, but yeah.
We don't really know. Just ranking right now. The website is broken. When is it going to be fixed? God only knows. Like,
Yeah.
this is why like I'm very much getting to the point where I'm like, we should probably just not have ranking at all, because it seems to just destroy the website.
Yeah.
Um, I just think like going in the direction of actual tournaments, like tournaments hosted by the WBO, not just individuals on the WBO, but the WBO, um, would just be better.
Yeah.
And then we just get like, because at that point there, the WBO can say whatever tournament you want to host, let anything be allowed. We don't care, but our specific tournaments, here's the specific rule set that we will always follow.
Yeah. Yeah. I can I do agree, because it's like I I saw something the other day. It's like what they trying to say, if you have an X tournament, that it'll be ranked now with the regular, like, I guess, burst rankings if they do bring it back, and then once they make an X ranking, they're gonna go back and then process all the tournaments as X for X ranking.
Oh,
Is that
I think the way it was explained to me is it's using the same X4 or the formula with burst. So like it coexists with the burst ranking currently, but whenever they get stuff fixed, it'll be its own ranking.
okay? That's a lot of work though, because they'll have to go back, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when a website gets fixed, they won't really be going back, because that's when they'll be doing the processing to begin with. Because
Well, yeah,
currently, they can't process anything anyway because it's broken.
yeah. I don't mean going back in the sense of like let's say they don't fix it until January. So every single tournament they're gonna have to start, because right now when they process events, one things that happened, they had to go back and then reprocess everything from the time that it got messed up. So they, if it's January and then they come to September or August, then they have to process every tournament that happened from that time. Um, and it has to be in order. Like, they just can't start in January and then backdate it, right? They have to go from the
Right.
beginning to the
Right.
end.
Right. But they have to do that with any burst tournament now anyway. So
Yeah, but that's like 6 tournaments or 4 months or however many.
they have to do it with any burst tournament, any metal fight tournament. Like they have to go back and go through all of them. Which is
Yeah,
what I'm saying. It's all just it, it's just not worth it.
yeah, I was thinking the same. I usually like base work on, like, dude, if I'm not willing to do it, I'm not gonna ask anybody else to, and I know I won't be willing to do that. So I don't know, but I would be fun with like what you said. I know y'all are having the DMV event. I think that's
Yeah.
dope. I don't know if um well, I hope World Cup happens again. But anything like that would be just sweet or dope. But ultimately, and like you said, the WBO having some big main event would be the sweetest thing, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
I think that
I've
would
been
outweigh.
wanting that for a while.
You said what?
I've been wanting that for a while.
Yeah, yeah. They need it, especially, man. They got the new generation coming out. It's already out. Like, everyone's hype on it. We've had so many like big tournaments recently, just held by like normal organizers. Um,
Hmm.
feel like it's time. I don't know, and I feel like it could just be me. I'm not on the site like that, but I don't want things to just die out, because I know enthusiasm. I know like some staff is probably stressed because I know I'd be stressed going back with the rank because that's a big part of the WBO. And then the website's broken. There's a lot of people just talking on Discord. Like, give the community something to be hype about. I at least feel like, but it's
Yeah.
just but yeah, I guess back to just X and the testing. 'Cause I think I diverted you with the well, talking about ranked and also just
I
that,
mean, it's fine.
yeah, draw rule. But I think you were talking, Jared, on your take on it. Oh yeah. You said it is just weird because nothing's consistent, right?
Yeah, like you can definitely see that like certain things will beat other things like more often, but like sometimes just weird stuff happens. Like it's like you just can't do anything about it. It's just like weird. Like I don't know. The competitive part of the game, I'm gonna like, give a bit before I like really make a big like I guess like have my
But
like final thoughts on it. But
Yeah,
for now, it seems like there's some things that you can do that you can control, but sometimes weird stuff is gonna happen, and I feel like
well,
it's
well, it's like me and Jared were talking, and we kind of agree that the potential for this to become competitive is there,
mm-hmm.
yep,
but it all depends on what Takara Tomy does. This is definitely like probably the game where defense could actually be a like factor,
Yeah,
like having having defensive parts and defensive combos. And I think that's what would make it the most interesting if finally like attack really does just most of the time beat stamina, defense will beat attack, and stamina will beat defense.
yeah, the
You
way
know,
it's supposed to be.
right? Like if it actually like if no longer do you make like stamina defense hybrids, just like because a stamina tip just ends up being 10 times better than a defensive tip, but a defensive tip against an attack blade will always like get it to stop and not, just get extreme finished all the time or whatever.
Yeah, I do y'all have a preference on the side that you play on? You don't have to tell me what it is, but did y'all find one?
No, when we played, it didn't
yeah,
really seem like
didn't
there was
matter.
a big thing that mattered. I mean,
Okay,
I did like one side over the other just for like how I launch for placing, but
yeah,
it's not like a advantage for like the attack Beyblade or anything.
okay. As I played, I did find a side that I like more. The only thing, and like I said, I was testing with my boys. Even though my oldest son, he is really legit. And then I played against my wife was another adult, but it was I found success not necessarily in the combo itself, but in my placement and my launch style. That's the only time it didn't really matter. It's what y'all said. It was like rock, paper, scissors or whatever, or just random. Um, as far as the combo went, but what I could control, like from the
Yeah,
outside, just like where I was positioned at, the angle that I launched at, that really determined on what I could do.
yeah,
Uh, and I want to test that out up there to see like, hey, was I just getting lucky at home or what? But I will say they're fun. They're fun as hell. I do
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah. My baby boy, he doesn't play with bursts. Like he stopped. It just wasn't for him. But he's back in baby. Like he even wants to compete now. So I know he's in love with it. My everybody in the house played with him. My
yeah,
wife, she was just gonna do a couple of matches, and then it ended up turning into like a all out battle. You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot of fun. They're I don't know. They're real exciting. Um, do
yeah.
y'all go ahead?
I was gonna say that they definitely amped up the hype with X.
Yeah.
Like, cause like they said, like the goal of the reason why they have this ridge and everything is because it's meant to represent your Beyblade making a special move.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and it does feel like that, especially like when they smack it and the other Beyblade just goes right into a pocket or something.
Yeah, it's like you're playing pool.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and that's yeah, man. I got some things I don't want to talk too much because I know we're gonna be competing soon. I just want to play, but I did see there were some things that I liked and that I enjoyed. I do have a little bit of a strategy. I'm gonna try, but if it gets shut out, then it gets shut out.
yeah.
With Drawn Sword, because I know Drawn Sword is the thing to beat. Like, how did y'all feel when y'all were just testing with that? Was that OP or was it falling into the same category of
Fun,
everything else?
funny enough, the more we tested with it, the less we liked it.
You know what? I didn't care about it either. But I thought like else is saying like, oh, it is it, this and that. But it was like when I was playing with it's good, but from the testing that I was doing, I was like, man, I don't know if it's as OP as everyone is making it seem. But I don't know. That's just me. I was like, all right, it's good to hear that y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
your experience?
It's like it's really good at what it's supposed to be good at, which is something I like about like I feel like that's pretty much the same for like everything that's at least with this first initial like couple releases. Like they're good at what they're supposed to be at, like what they are on the box, you know? Like
Yeah.
but I think for like a 1v1 format it might be a little too good, but like I don't think that's really how you're supposed to be playing with these. I like 3v3 better for X, especially at least early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because we started playing 3v3 when we were testing, and it was 10 times more fun than when we were just messing around with 1v1s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like drawn sword definitely like performs well. Like I'm not gonna say it's bad, but what I will say is like when you start playing like 3-on-3, and it's not like you're getting 3 chances with the drawn sword to try to get an extreme finish, and
Mhm.
you can like potentially just self extreme finish or self KO. Like
Yeah.
you kind of see like less value in it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't get that, yeah,
Because
it's like yeah, the one thing that it's good at. If you can't get that, then it's like damn.
right,
Um.
because you look at it and you're like, well, I only get to launch it once and not 3 times. So
Yeah.
what I only get to launch it once, if I mess up that launch, then it could just potentially ruin the game for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the points come so quick, and you play 4, you get 3 with an extreme.
Yeah,
So probably not shuffling at all. Did y'all have to shuffle?
a couple times.
Yeah, we did have a couple.
Okay.
But
All right.
that was also kind of like more so once we were figuring out like different places to launch the Beyblades.
Mm-hmm.
Like because then like the battles were lasting until like the stamina finishes.
Okay. Yeah. So
Like
how?
we had one match we almost had to do a second reshuffle.
Oh,
Yep.
for real?
Yeah.
How? Needle's supposed to be defense, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Needle?
I don't like needle.
You don't?
No, but I
Is,
do like high needle.
Yeah.
is it because of the burst resistance, or
No, I don't like needle because when you get into the end game, it just falls over too far.
oh yeah, that's the one you were saying just rolls out.
No, that was the potential of any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them were doing that.
Yeah. No,
How?
but needle when it starts to tip over, it just tips over way too far and it just scrapes itself out.
Okay.
High needle doesn't fall over as far, so that's why I like it. Because
Okay.
the tip is actually wider at the base than regular needle.
What color is that one? I only
Uh
know the.
it's like a dark jungle green.
Okay, the yellow one is the regular Needle.
No, the yellow one is ball. Needle is green.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping. I got my
Probably.
memory up. Um, I don't know, but at least I think I did see a little bit of defense with it because it kept trying. But this was with my son's playing. I wasn't playing. I was just watching. Um, because it wasn't going out of the stadium, which was unique for me to see because it looked like it was about to get KO'd a couple of times. It looked like it was doing what it's supposed to be doing, but I didn't really stay to watch the end game of it to see the topple over, like you said. Um, so I am looking forward to that. I am ready to play. I still have a lot more testing to do. My boys they were doing more testing than me because I let them have at it. They were switching up a lot of the combos. They was back there for a couple of hours, and but I'm ready to play them again because if they learn something different than what I knew, then they can let me know if like my initial testing was just trash or not. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if I should be saying this with a couple tournaments coming up, but fuck it. Like, sorry.
All right, it's all right.
But no. So one of the things that I think people are really gonna mess up on is if people learn where to place their launching, and people are just hard launching things like Dransword on flat or tapered, they're
Yeah,
just going to self extreme, and
yeah,
they're gonna have a horrible time.
yeah. That's why I think we talked about it. We talked about it on I can't remember what episode, but we were like, it seems like how do we word it, Mike? You said it was blader skill, luck, and combos,
So,
right?
so for by the end of burst, it was combo was the most important thing, then blader skill, and then luck.
Mm-hmm.
And then but for X, it's currently luck is the highest, and then blader skill, and then the combo.
Do you think luck is? I mean, I haven't done as much testing as y'all, but right now, all I've been seeing was just blader skill, and then luck,
Uh,
and then
I I think luck is still a very huge thing because these things are
yeah,
so because all the shapes that these things have for the most part are very recoily. So randomly, like in the middle of a battle, even when like the stamina's getting low, they can recoil and one just fly out.
okay,
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why I'm saying luck is very big because of their shape. If their shape was more like Metal Fight, where they were smoother and there wasn't like as much recoil going on, then yes, it would probably be blader skill would be the most important thing.
yeah. I only thought of blader skill just because they don't all seem the same to me. Like some of the tips do make a difference. My son was saying, "What's the middle part called? It's not the disc. It's
The
the
ratchet,
ratchet." Yeah,
ratchet.
my son he the ratchet made the biggest difference for him on the different ratchets he was putting on. But
Yeah,
but whenever I would battle him or whenever I was battling it, I was just solely using my just my placement and my launch style. Like that is what really helped me. Yeah, because if you do just yeet it in there, because he was doing that a couple of times. And that's what got my wife kind of hype on playing because she was like, well, it's not just how hard you launch it, because he was launching a lot harder than me. But it wasn't working out, you know?
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see, but I do get what you're saying. What was y'all thoughts on Wizard Arrow? Did y'all like that or not?
I
I
like
liked
Wizard.
it. Yeah.
I like Wizard Arrow.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Beyblade I think I like the least is Hell Scythe.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like a lot of people have been saying they liked it, and then but like me and you, Mike, couldn't like get it to work like people have been saying
Yeah,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, maybe we're just doing something wrong. Who knows? But I guess
Or
we'll
maybe.
maybe
find out
y'all doing
soon.
it right and the rest of us are wrong. I don't know. We'll definitely see. But I did like Wizard Arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Wizard Arrow, Night Shield, and Trans Sword. The most I think. I do have Night Lance. I did get to mess with it. I like Night Lance, but I don't think I like it as much as the others.
Oh, so you had that released already?
Yep.
Yep.
Man, I need to stay at the par. How is that one? What is it for? Is it defense or stamina attack?
It's supposed to be defense. I really like the tip. High Needle, I like it. I like it a lot. Night Lance itself, I mean, I like it. I think it has a place. I just don't know where the place is. It's got a weird shape where like it can do pretty well like both defensively and offensively.
Okay.
So
Next month, it's the random booster, right?
yep. But unfortunately, that comes out literally the day of my tournament.
Okay. And have y'all had? Are there any leaks out for it yet? Like, is it
Oh yeah, everything's
I
released.
think the whole
it.
thing is leaked for it.
Yep.
I am I feel like I've been living in a cave. Is it just recolors or is it all new
There,
bays?
there's one prize bay. It's Shark
Okay.
Edge.
Okay. Oh yeah, I heard of Shark Edge, but I
Yeah,
heard about that a while ago. And everything else is just recolors.
everything else is just recolors. It's Shark Edge with low flat. Is the prize bay 360. Um, even though I think 360 is wrong for that one. You probably want 460 to balance it better.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, balancing does exist in this game too.
Balance tuning or just
Yes.
okay.
Balancing in general like does exist in this game. Like it's definitely not to the same extent as it was in Burst.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering like the tip spin, so that doesn't really allow them to like be balanced. But like I have found that Night Shield, even though it has a little part in it that makes it unbalanced, you can orient a 360 on it to balance it out pretty well.
Okay. Okay. Three
So,
360 is the
well, 360 or 380, either one of them work.
okay. Yeah, I didn't go ahead.
It's just you just have to figure out how to do it, but it's not hard. There's two ways
What
you
do
can orient it.
what do y'all see? Do y'all see the ratchet as one of the most crucial parts on the bay right now or
Yeah.
I think it matters a lot, especially the height. I mean, even though it's not like really big now with differences, it's still enough where you can see the difference like in the match.
I
okay.
I I think the height is going to be a real big factor when like
Once we get more.
once we get like lower and taller ones, it's going to make a big difference because these ratchets cause the bursting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a big deal. And then it's also going to matter what other sided stuff they make because they could do 2, 1, which then means it'll have least burst resistance or more burst resistance because it's less nubs for it to hit.
Yeah.
you know. So there's a lot they can do with the ratchets.
Yeah.
I think the ratchets and the bits are going to actually be very important.
Yeah,
Um,
for making
yeah, like on the boxes, it even has like a speed gauge of how fast the bit will go when it's on the ridge, and like right now all of them are the same. So that means like they can make them like wider to make them ride the ridge slower, which will be very important for stamina because right now if like ball connects to that ridge and just goes around, it just loses its stamina. And even a flat can beat it if that happens.
Yeah. Did when y'all were launching ball, were y'all because one of the things I saw, like it really wasn't going on the ridge. It was just staying, it was just go to the center and then it would just stay there.
Yeah, but it like if it gets hit and connects to the ridge is
Oh
when it
yeah.
happens.
Yep.
Right. But like if they make them wider where it has less teeth to it, and so then when it connects to the ridge, it doesn't like zoom around or anything, it won't lose as much stamina.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I definitely have regular needle because I don't have the new release. So
Yep.
that's why I was probably getting my stuff confused.
Mhm.
So you got with I don't know how many Beyblades we have out now, like five of them all together or something like that.
6
Um,
with Bronzer.
6 with Dronzer.
6 with Dronzer. Okay. Do y'all have Dronzer?
Yeah.
Mike
Rest
does.
in
I
peace,
don't.
Dronzer.
I didn't end up buying it.
Yeah, I imagine from the way you said it, it's not doing too well.
It's too
It's
light.
just it's too light. They made it way lighter than everything else, so it's just like we said, like combos don't matter as much, but like a big weight difference like that for this does matter a lot.
Yeah.
And
Weight is heavy.
that's the only one that's like really far off compared to the rest. So and you can tell.
Yeah. And it's not like it came with like any cool unique parts either, so
Yep.
Yeah. It's probably just a collector's. collectors
I,
type thing. They do
I,
that with
I
remake.
I think most of the remake stuff will be more
Yeah.
collector things. Granted, they could also ever like with all the remake stuff they do, they could end up having like a crossover. Um, it's called the crossover project. They could
Hmm.
have like crossover project only tournaments. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
you know what would be dope, and I'm pretty sure they will do it because the remakes were just from past generations. If they start making the burst ones, like having an Achilles or a
Oh yeah,
Valkyrie.
they are.
Oh, they
Yeah,
are.
yeah. They have a whole voting thing on. They had people had to vote for X amount of I think it was like you had to pick like three Bakuten shoot bays, three metal fight bays, and three burst bays to be voted for the crossover project.
Man, I've been living under a rock. I need to get back on my YouTube status. I've been just heavy into One Piece right now, and
That's what Jared said.
you said what?
Jared had said the other day when we were talking, he was like, "I think James has been really big into One Piece."
I have. I've been really big into One Piece. Like it's a whole lot of fun, man. I like the I just love strategy games. It's a lot of childhood nostalgia back from like playing Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. But Yu-Gi-Oh is so far gone from me now. I can't hop back into it. But One Piece is pretty new. Um, and it's a whole lot of fun. But I am enjoying X. Like I'm still enjoying Beyblade, but I know One Piece is like, yeah, that's where a lot of my focus has been. Like I know the releases for that and what's coming out and what's going to be coming out and tournaments and stuff like that. But I need to get back up on my Beyblade knowledge. But you usually stay up to stuff a whole lot better than me anyway. Um,
I don't. I have Mike tell me.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I meant. Like Mike usually
Yeah.
stays, and then when I talk to Mike, we hop up here on the show. Then I get educated, and I'm like, okay, solid. Because right now I can't even remember the names for everything. I just know the names of the Beyblade, and I know only ball, needle, and
What?
what's the one that comes on is flat. It just because I mean that's the way they look. But as far as the ratchets go, I can't tell you any of the names. I know the three. It means the size, and then like the height for whatever the number is. But I don't. I can't remember what they all are. I rely on Mike heavily for all that information. Um, but yeah, I am. I am in the One Piece pretty hard. Um, I can't remember what else I was going to speak on. I think like with X is a lot of it's just going to be for tournament times because I think that's all we really have on that. Did y'all have anything else on X?
It's very hard to playtest by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tried it.
I, I've I've tried playtesting just by myself. It just doesn't work.
You,
Like, I mean, I can do a little bit, but not nowhere near enough what you want to be able to do. Because like if especially like if placement for where you launch matters, you don't
mhm.
have enough time to do a placement launch as well as then grab the next Beyblade and launch it before the other Beyblade gets into the center.
That's true. And to to really test it, it's different than burst. You like to
Yeah.
really test it, you have to launch from the other side.
Yeah.
Um, and that ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like not legitimately. I think the only thing you can do is probably just practice your placement to see
Yeah.
what blade does. But other than that, like it's yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, this really is not a solo game. Like it never really was meant to be. But as far as testing goes, you're gonna need a partner.
Yeah, which in like a weird way could be cool because if like this really does take off into like gear sports, you could then actually see like teams being made and
Yeah,
then people will practice
Yeah.
with their teammates, which will be really cool.
yeah, yeah. Cause what's I about to say? Yeah, I think I know talked about teams, and there was like the team of Palooza and all that. I mean, I'll hop back on it. The WBO has so much potential to do so many great things right now. If they, I would like for them to put their focus there. Um, Shoot, I know at one point, like I was heavily like I wasn't willing to do anything, but right now I have a little bit more free time, I wouldn't mind like if they needed me to handle something, like I wouldn't mind doing it. And I know you wouldn't either, Mike.
Yeah.
I know you've been trying to help for quite some time. Like it's no thing like to if they want ideas or they need some extra hands or something like that, like they can like now would be the time to do it and either reach out to us or I don't know. I don't know. I know they
I mean,
listen to but
we could sit here and have an entire 2 hours talking about what
Yeah,
we
we could.
think the WBO needs to do,
yeah,
and I guarantee like 90% of it is not incorrect.
yeah,
But
yeah,
the thing is like I the biggest thing with the WBO is right now they only have two directors, and both directors tend to go MIA for a long period of time. So stuff
yeah.
is not being done. Either
Mhm.
these two directors need to hang up the reins and find people that want to be directors and just give the website over to them, transfer it to them, or they need to relinquish some of their power to where the actual staff can do more than what they're able to do.
Yeah, I highly agree with the second one because I kept from as much as they held on to it, I don't see the first one possibly being an option because I don't think they're going to want to let it go just for whatever reason they have. You know, it's like it's maybe it's their thing that they started, they want to let it go. I get that, I respect it, but they need to delegate a lot of that power to people that are heavily involved because I've always been worried about this, and I've even seen. I haven't been on the forums for some time, but I know they're not even as active as it was when I first started. And that was just like 3 years ago. So I know it's dying down a little bit. The site overall is kind of dying down a little bit, because even rank isn't even a factor. Like the Discord is what's popping and what's hype.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want it to turn into just individual smaller communities when we have this real big community. But if nothing is done and like the changes aren't made, and it doesn't even have to be like, hey, we need to get rank on board or anything like that. It's just a new goal and a new focus. Like I guess revamping, it's not a business, but kind of it is, revamping the community,
It's
revamping the
it
organization.
it it is a nonprofit organization, but even though it's
Yeah.
nonprofit, it is still a business.
Yeah. And it's like what you said and what Jared wants and Jared said, it's like to have that focus, like, hey, let's take our focus away from ranked. This is this new WBO. We're solely focused on having this um national event or international event. You guys do your qualifiers and then we'll get it go. That'll spark people up again. I mean, all businesses do that. That's why we've had 4 generations of Beyblade.
I mean, I get it. I understand. The WBO was founded on the idea of the ranking system. It started out, you could battle one individual and that mess with your ranking.
Yeah.
It started out that way. So the WBO is like fundamentally structures itself around this ranking, but the problem is the a ranking matters more when everyone is playing the same thing.
Yeah.
If everyone is playing something different or playing the same thing but a different way, the ranking really doesn't matter because
Mhm.
if if us in Maryland are always playing the same way WBBA plays, and then everyone in Canada is playing their own, the original WBO rule sets, our our ranking is not the same as theirs then.
Yeah, it's
You
skewed.
know, because the same reason why people that came from Philippines or wherever else they came, I think Conte said Brazil, to BWC, it's the same reason why those players didn't make it into the top cut of BWC. Even though they're really good players of the WBBA and where they're from, they don't play WBO.
Yeah.
So
And
it,
those
it, it doesn't matter.
yeah. Those formats make a difference. Even if you tried to argue against it, it's like, dude, your whole play style is dependent on the format you're doing. You will not have like your deck. like you would say, we're playing WBO deck, it's going to be different than your 3v3, you know, because you can use the same blade over and over again. You can use, even if you have the option to rotation change, it's going to change the way that you build your combos. You know, it's going to change the way that you build your strategy. And if you haven't ever thought about that before, or you haven't played in that meta before, it's going to be, you know, detrimental. So if you're only playing a certain way and then your rank shoots up because you only play that way, when you go to play something different, you're not as experienced in that versus people who really are. And they may not be better with you overall in Beyblade, but they smash you that time because they have more experience playing in that format that you came to.
I mean, in pick three, choose one, you can just choose wind on BDR the entire day through and win BWC.
Yeah.
He can be just like Timothy Hemsworth himself.
It is
Yes, you
what it
can.
is.
Yeah, it's like Smokey the Bear. You too can prevent forest fires. You too can win a BWC.
There was some blader skill in that too. Like I give Jared his credit.
Yeah, Jared gives the credit to the one day of balance tuning out his win combo he did here at my house.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do think, and hopefully it will. I might reach out one more time, especially now. Like before, I couldn't do too much because I had work, I had family, I had the store. Now I have a little bit more free time, a lot more free time. So yeah, I'll probably do another reach out again to see like if something could get going or some of the ideas that I had. Like, because before I was like, hey, these are ideas. I'm not willing to put the legwork in for them, but if y'all want to take them, run with them. But it's like now it's like, dude, these are some ideas, and I have the time to put some legwork in for them. Mike has the time to put legwork in for him. Let's try to do something, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Like we said, I mean, this isn't. I've never saw it as us bashing the WBO. If people ever look at it that way, because then it would be like, oh, we hated the organization sucks. We want to do our own thing. It's never that. Like I think any information that we ever gave was to try to help it in some way. Like even now, it's like if the directors aren't as involved or not doing things, we're not like, oh yeah, like bashing and shaming them and bashing the organization. That's not the case. It's like let's do something to help. You know what I'm saying? Let's do something to get things rolling, you know, instead of just everything falling by the wayside.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, talking with some of the staff members, it just really seems like, some the higher ups have too much power, but they're not I get it. They have stuff going on in their lives and they're not able to put so much attention on the website. But if that's the case, you need to give the power to the people that you're entrusting to run the website to be able to do what needs to be done. Because currently only directors have the power to change someone's status on the WBO at between member, organizer, staff, or band, anything like that. Well, if they're MIA, we have all these people taking the organizer test and then doing the interview and passing, but they can't become organizer status until after, the directors come back and are able to change them.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, that's a lot of people that are sitting in limbo as to, well, when do I get to become an organizer and when can I start doing tournaments? And if that's the case, that means their area is suffering because there's no organizer there potentially for them to start building it up.
Yep. Yeah. And I will say this because this happened, I want to say earlier this year, and I talked about it on the show, but I was also sending a lot of messages because I don't want to exaggerate it. I think he was waiting a month or 2 months or a month and a half or something. And I'll shout him out now because, I mean, there's a reason. It was Good. I think Good TG99 or Good 99. He was waiting a while to have tournaments. He was the only one in his area. Before that, it was just myself. Frost would go down on occasion, and Bill Rob way back when he was hosting, will be hosting in Georgia. But now they have like 2 tournaments a month since he's become an organizer. But the thing is, they could have been doing that. I, I, I mean, it was just 2 months earlier, but he got the ball rolling. But when you're waiting, and then imagine how many you got 15, 20 people waiting to get the organizer status, or just even waiting to hear feedback, even if they're not becoming the organizer. It's like, hey, you messed up on the quiz, you messed up on your interview. To just get that feedback so they can get their stuff together and get out. Like, how many more areas would just be popping with Beyblade? Because I'll say right now, like Georgia's got something going on, and it's heavy, and they just needed an organizer, and they have one now. And if another one pops up, you don't want them to be waiting in limbo for a couple of months. And there are people in staff that I know of. I mean, shoot, we shout him out all the time. He probably doesn't want the extra work, but I mean, Shindog is extremely trustworthy. He's helped out this organization in so many ways. And there's other people that are willing and able to do it. And yeah, it is a reflection on self to be like, hey, man, maybe I could step back for a second, or give some of this power to somebody else that is trustworthy and able to handle it. And if they come in and they do crazy things, then your director, you can hear about it and just relinquish their um, power or their capabilities
Right.
to be able to do some things.
I also feel like one of the worst parts about it is I feel like there's probably a bunch of staff members that have gone in as staff with the best intentions, and what ends up happening is they see, the higher ups not doing what needs to be done, and then it demoralizes them.
Yeah.
So then like it might get to a point where even if the director's like, well, we're gonna relinquish our power and let you guys do stuff, somewhat, at that point some of the staff members might be like, well, I'm completely drained of even doing anything for this website now, so like I'm not gonna do it unless you pay me.
Yeah.
You better give me incentive to do it at this point, because at this point here, you guys have just let the website do whatever, and it's not working
Yeah.
out.
That's big facts. One, I know because I lost incentive from putting out the proposals, like, and I know it takes time to make decisions, but it's like, dang. And I wanted to say that because I know, and I will say it's an excuse, and it might sound harsh. Um, Everyone is busy. There is no one that's not busy. You have a job, right,
Yep.
Mike?
Yep.
You have a family, you have a wife, you have kids. You still are able to maintain having a tournament every month. I have a I haven't been home since it's not too long, but I haven't seen my kids since Thursday. It's Sunday now. That's a normal week for me. I go home tomorrow. And even when I had the store, I get off, fulfill the orders, spend family time, do things we had to do. With my daughter's playing softball, my kids having some function at school, running around. Everyone is busy. Everyone has things going on, but you make time for the things that you want to have time for. Jared, I know you have school, um, studying, getting ready, and things like that. You're still able to um, be on the website and things like that. So yes, we are busy. If anyone is 2 months busy to where they cannot handle, I feel like their organization or something like that, it's like I can't see that happening. I don't know how busy you are unless you had, and forgive me if there was something like detrimental to happen in your life, and that is completely understandable. But for years and years on end, um, something's got to change. But yeah, from putting up the tournament, not the tournaments, but the proposals and things like that, and getting lackluster feedback, or even reaching out and never getting a response, or only getting one response just to never be responded to again, was I mean, that's why I don't be on the website like that anymore. It's like, man, I felt like nothing was going anywhere. And then I do know staff members who did come in hard charging and wanting to do a lot of things and were very enthusiastic about it. And they got in, they saw some things, and then it just it just killed their drive. It killed their spirit for it. And yeah, I will say, yeah, some things have changed. Like we said before, like the different tournaments that we're able to have. They opened it up. They opened up the rule set recently for all the different formats and things like that. But rank has died, or it is dead at the moment.
Well, the real thing to think about is currently everybody knows rank is not working right now. So right now there is no actual like rank going on, but they're still coming to tournaments.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? The ranking itself doesn't really matter to people wanting to play. Has it affected before of whether people actually like attended things and tried a little harder? Yes, it has. But if they know there's no rank even going on and they're still showing up and playing, that just means, they just want to play.
Yeah. And
If some players could only go to one tournament a month and they had to choose, do I want to go play at a ranked event and, boost up my ranking, or do I want to play at an unranked tournament? Most of the time they chose the ranked tournament because it felt like even if they, maybe they didn't win, but they got something out of it, they got some ranking, you know? And that little bit of imaginary pixelated number matters to people.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I mean, like the ranking, like I get why it's important. I get why, because like I think seeding tournaments and stuff is important. Because I mean, we talked about that with the BWC episode and how that made double elimination really awkward and weird matchups were happening super early. But honestly, like if we're running, like I think Swiss is what gets ran the most. Maybe like block round robin too, but for Swiss, like you don't really have to seed the tournament. You can run at random. I mean, you lose once, like you can still win out and you'll be fine. But with like block round robin, you can just have the organizer just look at the groups. Like most organizers are going to know who's good and who isn't, and who's been around longer. So you can make even groups. You don't need the points to do it. Like back when the points was on hiatus the first time, way before you guys are around, it got to the point where like the bay ranks that were on the website that were displayed just weren't accurate anymore, and everyone knew that. So the way that you went about making block round robin tournaments was the organizer just had to eyeball it and make sure that the groups were correct.
Right.
And we can always go back to doing that. We did it for like 2 years. It'll be fine,
I mean, like right now when it comes to X, I mean, I the only thing I think we can do for our Swiss events is just random it for now.
Yeah.
Because X right now is a completely different game.
Who knows who's good and who's not, like
right.
Hello?
It's totally new.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. Man,
Jared was talking the whole time.
Huh?
Jared was talking the whole time.
Okay. So I work out in the country as a side note. I work out like pretty much in the middle of the woods. It's been the wildest thing. I told y'all to hold on. I saw the spider and it looked like a brown recluse. I have this little app on my phone to like identify bugs and stuff like that. It definitely was a brown recluse. So had to take care of that. We had like snakes in our garage the other day. Like we found 4 of them, like small little pygmy rattlesnakes. And we had wasps in the station. Man, we're getting infested with dangerous.
So it's Jumanji.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it, that's what I was like. I looked over, like I was talking, and I was like, man, that don't look safe. Let me get rid of that. And picked up my stuff from off the floor. I didn't want to call it in my book bag, but yeah, man. My bad. What was y'all talking about?
I was just talking about like like I get why we have the ranking system and like it does matter for like seeding tournaments, but at the same time, like the WBO worked without it for like 2 years before, and I don't think it matters that much. The only time it really matters is like double elim, but like honestly, that's a tournament format I don't really like to begin with.
Yeah.
I like I get why it's an option, but
I think in Beyblade it's tough.
yeah. But with like the speed with how fast X matches are, like I think you could run Swiss that was like more than 5 rounds and still have the tournament done in a quick fashion as long as the organizer knows what they're doing.
Yeah. I I agree, and this is two notes. When I went up there and I hosted the FGC event in the DB Stadium, it was completely shuffled. You know, I could have did ranked, or just seeded it that way. I shuffled it, but still the top 8 were who you would have guessed would have been the top 8 anyway. Um, so it's like if you do shuffle it, I think it's going to be okay. You don't necessarily need ranked in that aspect. And I can't remember if I said this before I hopped off, but as far as the rank goes, it's like what you were saying, Mike. Like people are still coming to the tournaments; they're not so heavily focused on that. And I say it again, like BWC really showed that BWC was not ranked at all. It was one of the biggest Beyblade tournaments in recent history. Everyone showed out, everyone had fun, everybody gave their all, and it was highly competitive. We talked about it. So yeah, I think just the revamping, it's hard to let go of things that you've held on to for so long, but I think the WBO will make it. I think it's actually a step in a better direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like if they're really worried about people coming out or not coming out because of rank, like there's nothing saying you can't find some other like incentive for people to show up. Like I think that's like the main thing that needs to be focused on is just making sure you have people playing at tournaments.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
if people are playing, then that's what you want, right? Like it's not like the rank matters if as long as you got more people showing up like every week or every month or whatever. Like I think that's all that needs to be focused on right now. I mean, we have like a new season or a new series, and I just don't want to see like the hype of that get like squandered by us just sitting around.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, what was you about to say, Mike?
I was gonna say it's one of the whole reasons why I'm doing the DMV Grand Prix. It's because it it's there to show that you don't have to have like a lot of big prizing or even a ranking system to have this do something.
Yeah. People just want to play. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. That's what I see it as. If you give them the platform and the ability to be able to do it, they're going to do it. And you have so many organizers who are willing to do it, you know, like there were so many regional events held for BWC. You know, when I was running the circuit, people were jumping on that. The whole circuit events, Team Up Palooza was a big thing. And I mean, you could speak on it, Jared. I wasn't around at the time, but when Beyblade North was like the big uh WBO event, they had other regions hosting events, right?
Yep, that was like the last time the WBO actually like was like very hands on and like a big event was all those 3 years of Beyblade North or Anime North when they were running like their regional qualifiers for it. Like all of
I,
that was like set up by the WBO, and then they let other organizers run them from wherever region.
can you I know you talked about it before, but can you run it through just in case anybody didn't listen? And I want to hear it again. Like, how did they were reaching out to different organizers? Were they doing prizes, or was it just like straight up you win this if you win the tournament?
So the winner of the tournament was given free entry into Anime North for the weekend, and they were given like compensation for whatever method of transportation they took to get there within like reason. Like they're not gonna they weren't gonna pay for somebody's like $2,000 plane ticket or something, but like they would give you some money back at least. So all you basically had to figure out was how are you getting to the venue every day and your hotel for the weekend. But if you
Okay.
won, so it's like kind of similar to what we had with Dark Horseman, where like they got to play in they didn't have to pay for the weekend, but um like I said, that was the last time the WO was ever involved with anything bigger like that.
Yeah.
Like, and if like organizers wanted to throw their own pricing in for like those regional tournaments, they could. But like the thing that the WO provided was that trip for whoever was the winner.
Yeah, and the thing is though is like I get the incentive behind that, but even that's probably too much for what you need. Like
Yeah,
I like if you're having the big event at like Anime North or something, just the ticket in the Anime North is more than enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
You're
you
at a
don't need
convention too, so there's a lot going on.
right. Like they don't need to also pay for like someone's they don't need to compensate them for their drive or anything. Like Konami will never do that for anyone going to nationals for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
If you get your invite for nationals with Yu-Gi-Oh, you're on your own on getting there and everything. Like, yes, you don't have to pay to enter the event. The event's free for you, but you don't get to, get anything compensated for you.
yeah, yeah. I'm listening, man. I'm like super paranoid right now. I'm like
Spiders
looking all
coming up
around
on you.
me. But yeah. And yeah, we talked about that before. It was because yeah, when man, if people want to play, they're gonna play. Like I'm about to drive all the way to DC. Not saying everyone can do it, but I want to play. So it's just gonna happen. People go to a lot of regionals and like far away. I mean, on their own dime, and it can happen. It's just if the incentive is there. And I think we spoke on this before, but if there's funding for the WBO, like maybe they can't buy everybody's ticket or give them all free entry or anything like that, but at least to have a spot guaranteed, like people will make a way to be able to come, you know? Um, and I think that's I agree with you. I really feel like that's what this organization needs. It's just some Kickstarter, some ramp up. Because if it doesn't happen, and I know we have spoken on this before, but if Gear Sports does like ramp up and become a thing, I think that's where a lot of the focus is going to go. You know, it'll just be with Takara Tomy, and I mean that does sound good, and it is nice, and it is good, but the community's voice won't be as heard as much. I think it will to a degree from TT if they see we're running into issues, but nowhere near on a level that we can be heard in WBO.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I for that stuff, I'll wait until I actually see it happen because, like, I don't know. I feel like we've been promised a lot for Beyblade in the States by whoever is producing it and stuff, and they always fall short. But
Yeah, yeah. What
but
did
I
they
So
say? What? Oh, go ahead.
but I,
okay.
okay.
Hold on. Jared, you go. You finish up.
It's like I like the idea that like we get to have more influence in our community now with the WBO, and it's like it's not something I'd like to lose. Like I think it's very like beneficial to have that around, and I feel like that just goes back to the part where like nothing really gets done, so it's like it doesn't matter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hopefully that changes soon.
Yeah, you're right. You are right on that.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's a question for you guys. If let's say Takara Tomy really does like take off of this and it starts getting bigger, but they don't mess with the WBO at all. They're like, whatever, you guys do whatever, but we're gonna have our regionals and nationals and maybe even contacts local card shops and they'll start having locals. Do you think you'd really play through the WBO much anymore?
I'll be honest. I don't.
I would say probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I am because I already knew my focus um was to try to head up to New York where they were going to have that you get licensed to be able to host the gear sports tournaments, and I just at that point I could see it being a lot easier to get into hobby shops because hobby shops will want to sell it as well because that's the main issue I run into. They don't sell Beyblades, so they don't really want to have me hosting tournaments there for products they don't sell. Taking up their space and they're not making any money like that. But if they're selling them, if it's popular, um, that'll be the way to go. And it's it's what we just spoke on. The pricing doesn't have to be crazy. It could just be some exclusive recolor that nobody else gets, or it could be an invitation to a regional event or to a national event, and that will take precedence because that's what more people will want, especially if the rank isn't working.
Right. Because
Especially,
see, that's what I'm getting at. Like, if Takara Tomy does go this route and starts trying to make it, more mainstream and everything, and gets it going with like national qualifiers and regional qualifiers and stuff like that, like what is the WBO gonna do? Even if they don't mess with the WBO, like if they don't cease and desist them or anything like that, if they just do their own thing, I guarantee you WBO is going to end up falling down.
yeah, I
Like
think people go ahead.
I just think a lot more people are gonna be like, well, I just have more incentive to go play at my local that's hosted by Takara Tomy.
Yeah, yeah, especially because like I know I'll be playing if I'm not the one hosting it and there was just a local shop like doing it, I'd be going to that, like 100%. And there'd be no like, dude, I've said it before, and I'm not saying it's laziness because the spreadsheets are a lot. If I ain't got to do a spreadsheet, I'm happy, you know. Um, so if I get to go to another tournament and they just put the results in, like, hey, these are the winners, 1, 2, 3, then you're good to go. Or if they do it like they do with TCGs, like maybe it's a $5 entry, but that's $5 credit to the store, so you can get something eventually. Because that's how hobby shops typically work, or what I've learned how they typically work. Then I mean, it's reason to play. You're doing it with your locals. You're not having to put in as much legwork, and then there's also like there's kind of a reward at the end of it, if you are able to get some practice in and play the way that TT wants the game to be played, and then like work up to play on those bigger stages. That's fun, man. I think that's what makes gaming gaming.
Yep.
And that's why everybody isn't just playing RPGs. I know people play RPGs, but um, in the competitive world of gaming, like that's what it's for. You want to be like the pros, and you're kind of looking to get in that way. Not everyone, I know everyone doesn't play with Beyblade and that plays competitive wants to get up there, but majority of us do. So
Yep. Yeah,
uh,
it's I that's the stuff that I'm talking about. But like WBO, I think they're just focusing in an area that doesn't matter as much anymore.
mhm,
You
mhm.
know.
I think I think they'll come around. Well, shoot, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think they'll come around. At least,
It'll
it,
it'll take 6 months. That's about the time frame I say like the WBO is behind by. It's always like around 6 months or so. Like changes happen. Like it's like cool, we got the change, but we wanted this like a while ago. Like
yeah, that's what happened. I think they implemented all the different formats in the stadiums and stuff for Burst once Burst ended,
yep.
and like thanks, but yeah, now we're on the X. So it'll 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 end up working out, man. In some way. Regardless, what's kept this organization running, and I'll say it if it sounds harsh or not, it's not the executives, it's not staff. It is like staff in some ways as far as hearing us, those that do reach back out. But it's overall the people of it. It's the organizers, it's the community itself. And if these people don't feel like they're getting heard or have an incentive to carry on, then you'll lose the community. Um, and that's just that. At least that's the way I see it.
Yeah. Like this the WBO staff, they do a lot, especially a lot more of than like what people really get to see.
Yeah, they do.
But it's just like what why does it take so long to get decisions made and stuff rolling? Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't take as long as it does. I definitely think too, one of the big things is like that they don't realize Beyblade already has a company that creates it and makes rules for it and does everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't need to do as much as they're doing. Like I am glad that our current standard rules for the WBO of Beyblade, like all the formats now, is what WBBA has had, is what
Yeah.
Takara Tomy says. That's great. I think that is how it always should have been. Um, but if we if we have too many voices saying what they don't like, and then WBO is trying to change to what all of these voices say, it's just going to be bad because there's a lot of people right now that think X is better as a 1v1 game and not playing it as 3-on-3. There are even
Mm-hmm.
some that think it's better as a deck format game. We don't have enough parts for there to be a deck format right now. Nothing
Yeah.
like straight counters something else right now.
Yeah. It
So
would be
like
kind of, or just all lucky.
yeah, like at that point there, like deck format really you could just play just straight Dransword and just always stick. It would be no different than playing 1v1 Dransword at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You feel the same way, Jared? I know you've been with the organization for a little bit longer.
Yeah, like I feel like this is true for anything. Like you're not gonna be able to make everyone happy, you know. Like eventually, you just got to figure out make whatever decision you think is best instead of trying to cater towards everyone. That's kind of how I felt when like the rank clauses even went in, because then it became like, well, now the rank doesn't matter anymore because everyone's gonna be playing differently. And like I don't know if it was anything, if that was ever considered at all before or not, but like while it was being like made,
Yeah.
but like
I think it if I had to think, it was probably split. Some people were saying what we're saying, like if everyone's playing different, then what's really the point? And then it went through because it was trying to please the masses.
yeah. Well, I
yeah,
mean, I don't even know if it's the masses, but
yeah, because
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, my initial feeling of the ranked clauses was I like them. Because I'll be honest, I mostly liked them because they basically made WBBA being the base format.
Yeah. It
Like,
allowed us to be able to play something ranked that it allowed us to play the way that TT wanted the game to be played and it be ranked.
yes.
right. And that's what I was mostly excited about. But the more I have sat here and I have watched the Discord chats and all kinds of other like some of the forum posts, and I see all the different people like now every time you turn around, they want everything now to be a rank clause. Oh, this should
Yeah.
be a rank clause. Oh, that should be a rank clause. This should be a rank clause. That should be a rank clause.
Is
At
it a
that
lot of voices or is it just like the same couple of voices?
well, what it is it's like everybody that has a random idea, it instantly just turns into this should be a rank clause.
Yeah.
So like, I mean that there's some people that make more than one that's kind of consistent, and there's also enough people that are different coming up with different things. But
Yeah.
it's just like, where is the WBO gonna just draw the line and just be like, enough's enough. Like we can't cater to everybody. We're not even gonna try to cater to anybody anymore. We're going to have our OP team examine the game, examine what they know, and create the rules that they believe are the best rules for the game, and what we say go. If
Yeah.
if you don't like it, don't play. Like
Yeah.
it's that simple.
And
Right now, Takara Tomy, they are the ones for their tournaments. You don't have people coming up to them and saying, "Hey, we don't like how the game is played here," and they say, "Okay, well let's make a rank clause for you, buddy." No, they say, "Then don't play the game."
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they look at you and say, "Then go home."
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're gonna play, and I think it's Yeah, it is. I mean, it's one of the things with the democracy or whatever. It's like everyone wants their voice to be heard, and but it's tough because some ideas, every person's idea is not the best idea.
Right.
You cannot sit alone by yourself and do your testing, and then want to create something that is, I guess, like off the wall just because of something that you experienced one time testing by yourself and wanting it to be implemented into the game that everyone else has to play. That used to baffle me too. That a lot of changes and things were getting made, but with people who don't weren't even at tournaments. They didn't host tournaments and have tournaments. I think yeah, TSO spoke on that, and I guess it's ringing back in my head now because she was like, before things used to be a little bit more closed, like staff wasn't as open, but then they made things more open and you got a lot more input, but it opened the floodgates and it oh yeah, gatekeeping. She was talking about gatekeeping. And maybe we do need a little bit of that. So yeah, even I might take back what I said. Maybe TT when they come, yeah, our voices may not be heard as much, so we can't speak on it like that. But it's like what you said, even when we do have our voices, we speak out and nothing changes. But maybe I'm not saying it needs to be like a full dictatorship, but it's like, hey, these are the rules. This is what we're going to play. Um, but TT will hear some things. It's like anything. It's like if they see the same winning combos or they see the same like type of issues in all these formats. So like we talked about, there's a lot of bursts and the other Beyblade is going out of bounds. It's like, okay, we need to make an adjustment on that, and they will. They don't need to hear everybody's input from it. You know, if it happens to one person at one tournament and they want the rule to be changed right then, right there, maybe that's not the best thing. Maybe that was just a fluke or whatever. But if it's happening to everyone around the world, then it's like, okay, let's make an adjustment to balance the game a little bit more. Yeah.
What do
But
you think, Jared?
I mean, I'd rather things be more like I'd rather the OP team just do their job and like that be it. Like they can take feedback from people, but like if it's like one person, like you're not gonna make a whole new
yeah,
rule for like one person unless it's like a very legitimate issue, you know.
yeah,
Like if it's not like if it's like, oh, I lost this way. Like I lost
yeah,
this way, I don't want to lose that way anymore. Make a new
yeah,
rule.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but like
You
if it's an
can't
issue
have
that
this
like
salty.
if
Yeah,
there's like issues that like multiple regions are having, like it it merits like having some time spent to look into it. And if OP team or whoever's looking at it like determines that it's an issue, like a change could be made. Like that's I feel like that's how it should be. I don't think that we need to like
Like if BDR was an issue and it
yeah
needed to be banned, and you know, and that's the other thing too. Like, had we been playing the same way that WBO was playing, I think the opinions on BDR may have been different.
yeah,
Like if we were playing in the DB stadium from the start of DB coming out,
yeah,
you know, and if we were playing 5G, like I think people's opinions on BDR may have been different.
yeah,
They may have had more of an opinion of if some people had metal bearing drift and bearing drift at the same time, you know, then it may have been like, well, if people can have two of them, it's kind of a little overpowered thing.
yeah, yeah,
But just one in 5G, I don't know. I watched Jared's match against Broyito, and you know, it required every single combo in their deck
yep
to determine who won that.
went to the last one. I
It
mean it wasn't like it was a really good match. I'm glad we didn't like go through the trouble of borrowing MBDs from people. I feel like it would have made the match a lot worse.
mhm,
Because then it would have just been like, well, my MBD hit the non MBD combo and the BDR hit the non like combo from this person, and it just like turned in this weird like I don't know,
right,
but like with not having it made deck building harder. It made everything like more challenging, and I like that.
right,
But like we never played those formats for like the most part, so we wouldn't have really known.
right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like from the way we played of the WBO rules, we came to the realization that bearing drift was very overpowered. Like, it literally probably should never have existed. But in the eyes of people playing WBBA 5G and in the DB Stadium, it probably wasn't an overpowered beast. It was good, but it probably wasn't overpowered.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because that's just one combo out of 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
It will make it more balanced versus you just having that 1v1 or deck. But shoot, I mean it kind of is what it is. I know with the rank clauses though, I do know this will happen. Like especially like locals and regionals will be played the way that they want to for themselves to keep their communities rolling and going. If TT does come over, things will transition to that. If they don't, then I mean, we'll still keep doing the same thing we're doing. I know I'm speaking on already what's going on, but I just can't. I cannot see the WBO as far as the website continuing on in the same path that it's going on. At least for right now. I know that's probably harsh to say, but I only see Discord growing and Discord popping, and I'm not in there like that. I'm just hosting tournaments and trying to attend them now. I'll still be hosting, but I'm definitely running to some other tournaments that I can get to now just for the fun of it. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's a tough thing, man.
Yeah.
But did y'all have any other topics or any other things to discuss?
Not really. I think we covered like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot more to talk about after Friday, and
Yeah, at least on how X is like in an actual tournament setting. I mean,
yeah,
I've only played it the one time with you, Mike, like, and like the one time like before that one tournament we had, but that's it.
yeah,
So like to actually have like a full on organized tournament with it will be like that'll be like a big thing to see how the game is, at least like initially.
yeah.
Shout out to Beyblade East. Where's that at again? I know it's in.
Silver
Is it
Springs.
in DC? It's in Silver Spring,
It's in Silver Spring.
and it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Or
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Shout out to Beyblade East Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Y'all having X, I imagine Metal Fight and Classic.
It's X Friday, Metal Fight Limited, and Zero G for Saturday, and then I think it's Burst Classic and Plastics for Sunday.
Okay, yeah. If you're able to check that out, it's in Silver Springs. I believe it is. They all are posted on WBO. Of course, I would imagine Friday. Check that out. And also, I wanted to shout out Mr. Memes. I apologize. I need to get back with you and schedule a time for your interview and JA Industries. I know you've been hitting me up as well. And we're also going to try to get some other interviews in the near future. We can get to know more of the community. We can do just our part in that. And yeah, just much love to you all. Keep getting out there, Beyblading hard, hosting tournaments if you can. Trying to be patient if you're becoming an organizer. Hopefully things will work out. I am going to try to reach out myself, and I can't speak on Mike. I'm sure Mike will continue to reach out and do his things. He's heavy in the Discord, heavy on the site. And yeah, and without further ado, y'all take care.
Bye.